Hello, live YouTube. Oh my God, what a sweaty, miserable mess I am today. Oh, yikes. So, I had a little visitor today. My wife joined me for the Bird Alert today, and much hilarity ensued. She's just so much fitter than I am. It's so irritating. And then, it's like they've got me doing these like wimpy old man push-ups. She's doing like the real thing. Can't see anything. I'm fogging up. Oh my! Look at this. Look at this serious fog up happening here. That is some real exercise happening. Hello, Mary Lou. How are you? Morning, Marcos. Oh, it's a morning, is it? Yeah, whatever. Hello, Lindsay. Hello, Make. Hello, Steve and Son. Crazy Nut Denmark. Ivan. Candace. Rover Pilot. Make again. Hello, David. Sorry. Yeah, screw these good mornings, Rebecca. Come on. Hello from Czech. How are ya? Yeah, how are you? How am I? I'm good. I'm, it's done. It's done again. It's not supposed to. Hello, Matt from my old home, my home country, my homeland, the UK. David, it's my birthday. What, Gary? Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. This miserable, sweaty mess is for you, buddy. Happy birthday. Oh my God, if I get into birthdays, well, this is like, it'll devolve into like morning television of just people singing everyone happy birthday. 1:23 a.m. for Rebecca. Candace says yay. Maker Viking says hello, David, or hi, David. I say, hey, Maker Viking. How goes the builds? Belgium, yeah. Gary, you're welcome. Have a great, great birthday. Enjoy it with whoever you can. Technical support today. There you go. We are live. Good. So actually, phone call came in. I got to call her back. But I didn't want to interrupt my burn alarm because, I can always call her back. Dropped out. So it did drop out. Okay, yeah, all right. I thought that might be the case. It's for some reason when the phone rings. That's interesting. Can I turn off the phone while I'm doing this? No, because I need the Wi-Fi for that. Oh, that's interesting. Bonjour, Francine, or bon matin, or bon nuit. Nicholas, how much did you burn today? I don't freaking know. It all hurts. It's like, what I've done is I've taken places where I don't have muscles and I've filled them with pain and resentment. That's basically what exercise is all about. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what for some reason, it doesn't like the phone ringing while I'm doing this, which I suppose makes sense. But yes, Francine has sent us an eye. That's very nice. Merci. So knowing my sister should probably call back because that's what she likes to do. But so we'll probably freeze again. But I now know at least sort of how to slightly stop it, and then you can just basically, so anyone knows, if anyone else ends up doing this, you go into. You swipe up so that you get all of your apps. You can see all of your apps, and then you just go back to your YouTube again, and it sort of resets everything, I think, by the looks of it. So 3:25 in France. Well, that's a good time for baguettes and delicious cheese and a little glass of red wine. Emperador! Today, I don't have a question for you. What? Emperador! You always have the best questions. John, what is John saying here? John's got some text going here. What's this? It sounds like be good smart tech to test to figure out how much you burn to give you some metrics. I know, John, here's the thing is I feel like it's probably not many calories, to be honest. Because I almost don't want to, private, would that work? Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you. That's very smart. Go to private mode. Yeah, I almost don't want to know because I feel like it'll just be depressing how few calories. It's not even about, I've in a way, when I was on the torture device back there, on the elliptical machine, I think that was more about getting some cardio in and trying to get all that sorted. Now I just want to feel a little fitter. You know what I mean? I know it's good, cardio is all good and all that kind of stuff, and the longer you do, the better and all that jazz. But I'm doing these endless freaking dog walks anyways at night. And so I just wanted something, just a little bit of tone, just so I don't, one of the most telling signs to me was in my, I guess, 30s when we were on a plane and the plane started taking off and the plane's bouncing around. And I realized, wait a second, everything's moving independently on me. Everything's jiggling. And I was like, oh God, I've turned into a jiggly old man. And that was 20 years ago. So I'm trying to stop the jiggle a little bit. It should be like, it's really just I'm just trying to kill the jiggle. All right, greetings from the UK, Little Miss Trouble. Yeah, that's me, Little Miss Trouble. And another person from France. Oh, France est très ici aujourd'hui. Good afternoon from Germany. Very good. Nice to see you. You survived the dentist, the workout, the shaving, the missing SIM card. You're a jiggle superhero. It's true. I could just be called the Jiggle. I am the Jiggle. I think there was actually wasn't there like in My Hero Academia, there was that big guy that Basil used to joke that I was like the Snorlax of My Hero Academia, the anime that my son used to love. He's now moved on to much more sordid and violent stuff that I'm sure I won't enjoy. And he refuses to watch anything that's live action. He will not watch a live action version of any anime because he says it'll ruin it. To be fair, he gets that from his father because, like I'm saying, I'm not going to watch Sandman because I just loved Sandman so freaking much. I loved that comic book. I bought two, for the first, like, I don't know, year or so, I bought 2 editions of each one of those comic books because I wanted one to read and one to remain pristine. And to this day, I still have 2 copies of all that first year of Sandman or whatever it is. So I just don't want to see it. I hate to say it, I just don't want to see it. And I know that's a stupid thing to say and very closed-minded and all, but I just don't want that wonderful, the darkness, that emo charm of whatever it was. I don't even want to read them again now because I'm sure I'd find them cheesier than I did when I read them back then. But God, I love that stuff. Anyways, so what do we got? Of course I missed the Stargate. Who doesn't miss the Stargate? I miss the Stargate more than anybody. I love the Stargate. Are you kidding? How much fun it was playing McKay. Fantastic. But I got to say, I did the read-through yesterday for this other show. Look at that. Boy, that is some hair today, huh? That's full-on Tintin. That's for France. There you go. Huh? You see? Tintin. I did this read-through yesterday, and oh my God. So I was in, we do these read-throughs 2 episodes at a time because they shoot them in these 2-episode blocks. And no, I'm afraid I still can't tell you what it is. So they shoot these 2 episodes together at a time, and I think they bring in one director to shoot both of them, and so they could sort of like tighten up their shooting schedule so they get more bang for their buck by shooting these 2 episodes at the same time. And I'm only in the first of those 2 episodes. I just have like one little scene, but it's lovely little scene. Lovely little scene. I love it that way when you come in, nail a cool little scene, and bail again. But I stayed because frankly I wanted to know what happened, right? Because it ended on like a bit of a cliffhanger, and I was like, but I know I'm not in the next episode, so I just like hung around. I listened and I watched, and you just get to watch actors work, and God, it's good. It's just fun to watch good actors. It really is. And they got the best on the show, like just fantastic people. Of course, myself included, naturally. But no, far and beyond my own talents. There's some fantastic acting in there. And twists and turns. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're going there. And oh my gosh, they're going over here. Anyway, so at the end of it, I typed a little message to the producer and just said like, oh my God, I can't believe we're going over all these wonderful little nooks and crannies and places that they're going that you just don't expect. And, because it could just be a regular old, psycho procedural thing, tracking down the bad guys, we're going to get these people. But no, it's like this wonderful weaving sort of tapestry of all these different lives and traumas. And, it's fantastic. Anyway, so it's a really, really, I got to say, I'm really impressed with the show. I mean, I'm kind of excited. Like I say, I think it's a testament when a jaded old jerk like me wants to stay for the second reading, because even though he's not in the show, and watch all the other actors get to have fun. But it was magnificent. There's a few actors in there that I'm just like, just watching them do stuff, even just in a read-through, just watching them do these really interesting, neat little things, and all sorts of stuff that I'll steal, I'm sure, later on, because that's all it's all about. What's the name, Mary Lou? I can't tell you yet. Mr. Guru Charm. Ooh, Mr. Guru Charm. I could use some Guru Charm. Hello, right back at you. Anyone see my shirt, by the way? This is my little. So we were joking today that while we're doing a workout, you have to do these jumping jacks. So Jane and I are doing the jumping jacks, and then she started giggling because she's being chased by the dog. So the dog likes to eat her feet while she's trying to do it. But we were joking that we were like human We're like we're like human space invaders doing our little thing as the dog came along trying to get us. Anyways, see, you're in the mind of an exercise. You're in those are where the endorphins, the dolphins are flying around in our heads there. When the jokes start flying, yeah. Sorry, okay. Yes, I have a question. Oh, Emperador is up to, yeah, see? Yeah, what is opinion of, oops, I missed that. Oh, how do I say that? Yomi? Is it Yomi? And Huawei, after the U.S. government banned it after, say that it's dangerous for the people. Oh. It's weird to me that they banned, that is a tough one. Because, for how long has the world been using Windows, which is an American operating system, on people's computers all over the world? I mean, I don't know that that's being banned anywhere. That is a really tough one. And Patador's always got the best questions. That is a tough one, though, because I think one of the problems with Huawei is that they build 5G technology. So I think that the idea of having an infrastructure built by your largest competitor and possibly even military threat, I suppose, for want of a better word, is a difficult choice. Perhaps they know more than we do. It just smacks a little bit of protectionism. Like, it just smacks a little bit of, of this sort of buy American, at whatever cost type thing. And I worry about that because we spent so long getting to the point where we've got these global infrastructures, and now we're basically clawing it all back. So I'm very torn on that. You're walking around with personal surveillance devices. The devices that can tell you who you are, where you are, can be watching you, can be listening to you, can be broadcasting you, can be, giving GPS coordinates, can be literally tracking mood and heart rate. Like, look, the heart rate, all this kind of stuff. That information is going right now to companies all around the world, whether they're in Canada or in America or China or Russia or whatever. I just worry that if we get too sort of splinter net about this stuff, if we all turn into our own little bubbles of information, it's just going to get worse. I would much rather them see some kind of an understanding. I mean, the fact of the matter is the Huawei phones are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Some of the best Android phones on the market, if not the best. I like the Samsungs as well, I got to say. I don't know much about the other ones, which names I can never say. But I just worry a bit about how much of this is politics, how much of it is just protectionist stuff from the States that is struggling to compete with China, and also how much of it is legitimate concerns about privacy. Because it seems to me that the U.S. isn't that worried about people's privacy because Facebook runs rampant. Google's got access to everything. As I say, the iPhone. I mean, how many people have iPhones? And now that's data going to Apple all the time. I mean, I just worry about where we're drawing the line on this stuff. I mean, I think if you're going to start banning phones, you need to let us know why they're being banned, like legitimate reasons why, and those have to be applied not just to countries but to corporations as well. If you're going to stop a country from being your primary source of 5G networks, then why the heck would you then pass that over to a corporation instead? And I also think we want to be careful that we don't hobble ourselves going forward with technology by just blanket, like these blanket bans on things. So I don't know. I mean, look, we want people to buy American products, and a lot of the software, a lot of the apps, a lot of this stuff is, while most of it's being sort of processed and created in other regions, I mean, the genesis of this stuff, a lot of it's come from the States anyway. So if we feel that we are, that we don't want other countries' software and hardware in our country, then we have to expect them to feel the same about ours. And that really worries me because, I just don't, it doesn't bode very well for our economic situation, for our peace for peace in the world, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I understand if there's valid concerns, if these companies are like owned by the Chinese military or have obvious ties with them, those are concerns that we need to address. But I would also argue that we need to address those concerns with Google and Facebook and and Windows. I mean, for that matter as well. I mean, the Department of Homeland Security has in the past gone and approached large software and social media companies in order to get information about them. After 9/11, there was huge, as we know, because of all of the leaks. We know the government's been doing exactly the same kind of surveillance stuff that China has been doing. Admittedly, without the concentration-like camps of approach to their what they see as religious problems. China has always had. I have this weird love-hate with China because I suppose you have to admire the enemy, if that makes sense. They think so far ahead, and they think in terms of, on a societal level. So basically they're planning 10, 20, 100 years in the future, and they are approaching it not as individuals with rights and lives and hopes and dreams, but as large numbers of society. As a result, obviously, their track record for human rights is just actually is appalling. As any large empire has discovered, including America. I mean, we've violated a lot of human rights as well. So there's a part of me that sort of admires their ability to do that, but at the same time, I don't want to be just one of the numbers of people that can be erased from society or whatever. I mean, I really feel like I'd like to read more about China. I'd like to know more about China. If people have recommendations on stuff that I could be reading about that, or audiobooks, they seem to work pretty well for me, or even podcasts. I might look for some podcasts because I'm fascinated by Chinese society. I actually did a documentary. I did the narration on a documentary called something about the green tiger or something. I'll have a look it up. I did a narration for it, and it was about sort of environmental movement in China and the struggles that they've had with that. But yeah, I mean, God, Imperador, you always ask really, really good questions. I appreciate it. Really, like ones that get me thinking too. I'm curious. And what are other people's perception of this stuff? I mean, China. When you think of China, what do you think of? Can I scroll from here? I can't. Damn it. Let me do that. How loud are the? All right, no kidding. Good one from Norway. McKay. We are handicapped by the pursuit of profit. That is why Western society never plans ahead meaningfully. That's interesting, Matt. I mean, I think, yes, profit, but I would also argue that our political system, because of this 4-year election cycle, the politicians are only thinking towards the next election. And I think that's another concern there. I don't think it's just a profit motive. While I admit that I think, there's this fantastic lecture, which I must find and must share. I will do that on Twitter, about how we need to start evaluating our companies the value of our companies differently. So not just how much money are they making and how much money are they making for their shareholders, but how much are they contributing to the quality of life in the countries in which they operate. And that sounds a little sort of hippy dippy, hammer sickle communism stuff. But I do think that we need to start reevaluating this. I mean, like, if a company makes huge amounts of money and provides a service or a product that we use, we need to consider what the ramifications of that, like, for example, the oil industry or the cigarette industry or the pharmaceutical companies, social media, another example. At what point do you say, like, big deal, they're making a lot of money, they are destroying, I don't know, the minds of our children, the farmlands of our future, the planet, global warming, all this kind of stuff, or even just quality of life. What are they giving back to the society that they're a part of? And I think, a lot of the Scandinavian countries have this down, where there's a great sense of of there being more than just a profit motive towards this stuff. But again, I think with China, one of the biggest things I respect about China is their sort of determination to look ahead as a country on a far more geological scale than we do. I mean, our focus on the future is it's just so myopic. I really think that and one of the concerns, getting back to Emperador's question, I think one of the things that we need to do is be receptive enough to pick the good things from other countries that perhaps we don't necessarily agree with. Let's find things that we could, because you can always learn things from people. I mean, I've always said to Baz, never go into a conversation assuming you know anything. It's much better to assume you know nothing, because you learn so much more, even if it's just validating stuff that you think you know already. It's almost that Socratic, what is it? The Plato used to write about Socrates, about that, I know nothing, type approach to learning. And I love that, because you get so much more from people by having them explain stuff to you. So, Emperador says, actually, my wife is Chinese, but we have to understand both place. China wants to be an empire, USA too, and they will fight for that place. The only problem is the opinion on liberty. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, Emperador, that's interesting. I mean, China has the best of both worlds: a communist, disciplined workplace, and capitalism dollars to fuel it. It's a pretty economically, and a huge population, huge, now evolving middle class. But what's happening now is that I think they're struggling with the idea that now people have a little bit of money and a little bit more leisure time. They're beginning to consider things like, well, what's that, quality of life? What about, freedoms and rights and all of those things that I think can definitely butt heads with this whole idea of just plowing forward with a future plan for society. I mean, I think, again, there was an interesting discussion I had with this guy, I think I've said this before, who was a businessman who worked both in China and in Canada. So he lived in Canada, but would go back and forth between China and Canada to work. And he was saying that corruption exists in all systems of government. It just does. There's just, and yes, that doesn't mean we should stop trying to weed it out, but that we have to understand that anywhere we live is going to tell you that they're not corrupt in the way that other people are corrupt. So you just always have to be, I think, aware of what's happening in your own yard as well as everyone else's, So I think it's much easier for us to sort of lump China together as this evil communist mass, and I think then we lose the potential for both countries to actually, achieve some amazing things. I always love the space station, the International Space Station, where you've got countries that are literally at war, but their scientists are up there doing experiments and trying to figure out how to sort of better man and mankind or humankind or whatever the term is now. What is a viable population size for a country? Norway has 5 million citizens, which is less than New York, so New York's is a country. Larry, that gets into a whole other thing as well, where I just assumed that once we were standing on the moon, looking at the Earth and seeing it as this little blue gem in a huge dark space, actually not dark space, but in the photo anyways, this bright blue, beautiful little jewel. I thought countries would melt away, that we would see each other as residents of this tiny little planet. I really thought that's where we were going. I am shocked. I'm truly shocked that my son is growing up in a world that is fighting over these little tiny scraps of lands on a little tiny globe with a little tiny atmosphere protecting us from this massive universe of what is undoubtedly other life forms, other much larger problems than who owns this little tiny bit of land that we've drawn a line around on a map. I cannot get my head around it. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. And I feel like whatever system is sort of propagating this idea that we can carve up this planet into little pieces and it not affect other pieces it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And until we sort of understand that, I think we are doomed until we understand the concept of, our country is the planet. You know what I mean? We live on country Earth in the universe. You know what I mean? Like, that's our country. I think that would be my way of looking at it. Oh yeah, Michikaku, he's amazing guy. Future of Humanity. I can't look at that. Get back on my meds. Get back on my happy meds. That's right, James. I need my happy pills. David, hope you are well and keeping safe. Any news with the map and the ability to pin your location? I got a couple of emails about it. I'm going to have a look. Because it wasn't one of those things I could do in, half an hour lying in bed with my laptop, I have neglected to do it. But I have a bunch of other stuff I'd like to prep. But I definitely want to figure that map thing out because I think that's just kind of wonderful. Star Trek Unity now, indeed. Well, Star Trek, I mean, as I say, we've talked about the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek. I mean, one of the things I love about Star Trek is that it is using science fiction the way I love science fiction, which is to sort of explore possible futures for us, possible new worlds, to go where no man's gone before. But in a way, it's doing that intellectually, which I absolutely love. So I don't get how another Stargate series wouldn't be good. Yeah, neither do I. I'm with you. Not exactly the same. No idea. All right, I better wrap this up. My tea's getting cold. How cold is it? That's miserably cold at this point. All right, everybody. I don't know what's up today. I'm may try to pull it together for a Tech Bandits chat this afternoon. I've got to talk to my sister, obviously, because she just called me, and we shall talk again. So until we geek again, I shall say, be safe, be kind, be brilliant. Until we geek again, cheerio and huzzah!